Okay, so let's do one more program on loop. Now, in this program, we also learn how to import a library. Okay, so what happens is there are a lot of features that are added to Python. A lot of features. You can do machine learning, you can do a lot of other stuff, right? Not just machine learning, a lot of other stuff. But what happens is when you download and install, right? You get what? Some 300, 400 MB of file that gets installed. Okay. So it's not possible to add all the features in 300. If they start adding all the features, the file might become 3-4 GB of file. Okay. That's one. Second thing is not everybody will need to use everything. Suppose if you're not doing data science, then why do you need data science capabilities here? So what Python does is Python has multiple ways of managing these features. Okay. Or see, features are nothing but your class and objects and your functions basically, right? Okay, there are tons of functions, but it has a different ways of managing these functions. So like so far we have functions like print, input, all those functions, right? So those functions are something that is commonly used and they are added to Python automatically. Okay, so when you say print, it knows where to find print and it works. What happens is then there are some set of packages or modules. We will learn to create modules and packages. Module is a file which has multiple functions. Package is a collection of modules. Okay, it can have, so your package will have multiple files in it. It's like a folder. Okay, and your module will have multiple classes and functions. Okay, so things like um, your print, input, they are automatically attached. It's there in some file, but that file is automatically attached. But then there are some functions which are downloaded, which is part of your 400 MB, downloaded, installed, but not readily available. You have to explicitly call it. Because if all the functions are available to call, it will become too heavy, right? And your program will take a lot of time. Right? For example, when I say print, right? It goes and checks all the file, variables and functions with name PRI. So if I add tons of files, it will take a lot of time to load all this, isn't it? It says, so Python says, okay, let me automatically add things which are regularly used. Things which are not so regularly used, not so, okay? We will download it for you and you call it and use it. And something which are very special, let me not download it. Okay, let me not even download it. So future, when you need it to work, we need to download. For example, to do machine learning, you need to use scikit-learn. Now, scikit-learn package is not installed automatically. You have to install it after installing Python. So when you install it, it downloads and installs it in your location. Okay, so that's how you can pick and choose what you want. Based on your job requirement, you can download those libraries, okay, packages. So today we will see one such module which is downloaded, installed, but not available directly. You have to call it. Okay, so we are going to use what is called as random. So this is how you, okay, this is how you use it. So random is a file basically which has a lot of functions. Okay, so random is a file which has a lot of functions. Those functions are not available directly. You have to call random. Okay, and then using this random, you have to call those functions. Okay, so using random, we will see how to call those functions. Right? That's the purpose of module. Okay, so before we use random, let's do a simple program. Okay, so program is that you think of a number and I'm going to predict, okay, what you have thought of. Okay, so we will write and we will see how to. Okay, so let's see this example here. Okay, I'm going to say num1 equal to 45. Okay, num1 equal to 45. And now I'm asking user to guess the number, right? So I'm asking to guess the number. So let's say I say here, okay, guess equal to int of input, guess the number. Okay. So now I'm saying guess the number, right? It means you are asking to guess the number, right? Now, if the guess matches with num1, okay, if guess matches with num1, then I will say you have correctly guessed it. Otherwise, I will say, you have not guessed it correctly. Okay. So here I go and I say if num1 equal to guess. If num1 equal to guess. Okay. Print. Good job. You guessed it correctly. Okay. Else, print. Sorry, your guess is incorrect. Right? Simple example. So now when I run it, okay, and it says, okay, guess the number. I say 35. Okay, your guess is incorrect, right? And when I run it, I say 45. Okay, good job, you guessed it correctly. Okay, good. Now let's add one complexity to it. Okay, little complexity to it. Now I'm going to, okay, repeat it. I'm going to repeat it until you guess it right. Okay, so if I run this, okay, and okay, if I don't get it right, then you let user guess again. Okay, so for example, okay, so for that I have to put it in a loop, right? I have to say while true, because you don't know how many times you will take to guess. You can guess in first attempt, or you can take 10 attempts or 100 attempts to guess, right? Okay, so okay, and we will give a hint here. Guess the number between 1 to 100. Okay, so okay, now if I run it, it will become infinite loop, isn't it? Okay, so once you guess it correctly, that's when the loop should stop, isn't it? So I'll put break here when you guess it correctly. Okay, so now let's run it. Guess the number. I say 23. It says guess the number. Okay, 45. Guess it correctly. Let's add how many times you took to guess the number. So attempt, I'll call it as attempt. How many attempts you took to guess? So initially attempts is 0. And every time you read input, right, you are making a guess. So I'm going to increase it by 1 here. Every time you are saying input the number, it's like you're guessing, right? Okay. Good job. You guessed it correctly in so many attempts. Okay. So I'll copy this. I'll put it here. I'll put F here. Okay. So first I say 35, then I say 55. Now I say 45. Right. So it took us 3 attempts to guess it, correct? Which is right. So let's add one more complexity to it. Instead of just saying you guess incorrectly, let's give an hint. Okay. So whether your guess is okay more than the number or less than the number, right? Here, when you say incorrect, you don't know, okay, what should you guess? Should you guess, higher number or lower number? So let's give a hint here, right? So instead of building just if and else, we'll build one more condition called elif. And here we'll say if num1 is less than guess. Num1 is actual value. So if number is less than the guess, that means number is 45 and you're guessing 55. Then it should tell you, sorry, try again, try guessing lower number, right? So we are giving a hint basically, okay? And here we'll take same thing. We'll say, sorry, try guessing higher number. Make sense? So now when you run it, guess the number, 35, try guessing higher number. Okay. Right? Because our number is 45. 55, try guessing lower number. Right? Now we say 45. Perfect. Okay? Now, one more thing we will add here. Okay? Now see, I'm saying guess the number between 1 and 100. Now, if you guess it 150, so it goes into low, higher value here, right? But you're guessing invalid number, isn't it? It should not, you should not even go here, right? So what I'll do, okay, let me put 45. So what I'll do here, so that's an invalid and we will not count invalid attempts. Okay, let's not count. That's why count I'm putting later and I'm putting some check here. Okay, if you guess 105 or -5 or 0, the attempt should not be counted. Okay, so I'm saying if guess is greater than 100 or and or not we discuss, isn't it? Or guess is less than 1. Then what should I do? If I do break, the loop will stop. I don't want to stop the loop, but I don't want all these to be executed. I want to go back to the beginning of the loop. Okay, if a number is invalid, so let's print something. Okay, invalid number, right? And after doing this, it should go back to the beginning. So we have another statement called as continue. So you have break, which will break you from the loop. You have continue, which will take you to the beginning of the loop. Loop is not ended, but after continue, rest of the things is not executed, right? So let's say you are going to university, okay, and you forgot your pen or diary or whatever, purse. So you will come back, take your purse and then go again, right? You will not say, oh, today I'm not going to college. Not going to college like breaking the loop, right? We're not breaking the loop, but we are coming back, taking it and then going. So continue will take you to the beginning of the loop and then again you execute. Again, you encounter the invalid number. Again, yeah, we'll go to the beginning. Okay, so none of these attempt is afterward, right? So after continue. So attempt is also not executed until you get it right. Okay, so let's run this and see. So I'm saying 500. I'm saying 0. I'm saying 400. Okay, I'm saying -400. Now I'm saying 45. See, it says only one correct attempt because all the other attempts were invalid, isn't it? Okay. Right? Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about this import. We have used import. Now import. Okay. Import what? Random. So what random will do? It's a file which has multiple functions which generates random numbers. It has multiple functions which generate random numbers. So here what I'll do is instead of saying num1 equal to 45, I'm going to say random dot rand int. Rand int is a function which will generate random numbers. Okay, and you give the range here. So when I say 1, 100, I'm saying generate a random generate a random integer number. Generate a random integer number between 1 and 100. Okay. So every time you run the program, it's going to generate different random number. So now you also don't know what number it will be generated. Now it's a guessing game. Tell me, which number should I guess? Okay, so you're saying 5050? Okay, let's put 5050. Try guessing a higher number. 85. Let's try with 85. That means the number is between 50 and 85. Let's try 75 or 73. Lower. So it's even lower than that. Let's try 63. Oh, okay. So it's between 50 and 63. 57. Oh, it's lower than 57 also. 53. Okay, so it is 54, 55, 56. 54, 55, 56. One of these three. Let me try 56. So see, we took 7 attempts to guess this number. Okay, so this is how you can develop a mini application. Right? Okay. Now we can name it, right? We can tell what it is. Develop a guessing number game. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this program and put it here. Basically, I'm doing a duplicate, right? And when you run it, okay. So I don't know, right? So maybe 35, 75, 90, wow, 97, 94, 93. So 93. Okay. Now you see here, we are, okay, so it's like computer is thinking of the number and we are guessing it, right? How about we make computer only guess it? Right? So how do you make computer guess the number value? So instead of saying guess equal to this, right? We can copy and paste same thing here, isn't it? So we are making computer only guess it. Random it between 1 and 100. Now when you run it, how many attempts did it take? 133 attempts. We could do it in 6, 7 attempts. It's taking 133 attempts. What's wrong here? Can you think what's wrong here? I'll pause for a few seconds and let me know what's wrong.
It's taking like every number.
It's taking every number. What that means? What is that you're trying to say?
Like it was checking every number 1 to between 100.
So Yeah, you are going right. So what should we do? No, don't tell me, don't think from the program perspective. Okay. Generally, what would be your approach? What should we do?
So we'll give some hints like it will be.
Like hints like? Think. I just wanted to think. No, you don't want to guess?
No.
You don't want to guess or?
No, or like
Hmm.
they are saying that it should come in a lesser terms.
Yes, because when we manually guessed, right? When we manually guessed,
So we can give a range like it should be in this to this when it if it is in 60 means like we can.
yes. So your guess is correct. Okay. See, every time we are checking 1 to 100. But when we were actually guessing it, we knew, right? If we say 35 and it says 35 is lower, right? Think of a higher number. So we know that we don't have to think below 35, right? We need to think above 35. But in this case, okay, since every time we are guessing 1 to 100, it is possible that it could be guessing, below 35 also in case it is says above 35. Okay. So you can, I can show you, you can see it here. Okay. Try guessing lower number than. Okay. And we will say here, guess. And we will take this, put it here as well. Okay. Now let's run this and see what happens. So see, first number, scroll up. We said 65. It says lower number than 67, which is okay. Then it says 37. We guess 37. It says higher number than 37. Understood. Now you see, from these two, we understand that it is between 67 and 37. But still it's guessing 14 here. Okay, guessing 19 here. Guessing 95 here. guessing 11 here, 93 here, 94 here, 80 here. These are all waste, isn't it?
Yeah.
We know that it is less than 67. Then why do you guess 93, 70, 90, 4, 80, all those things? It's because we have to have a mechanism here to update this based on the guess. So what I'll do here, I'll say low, comma, high. I'm coming up with two values, okay, low, high. And see, initially it has to be low, comma, 1, comma, 100 only, right? So that's I'm assigning value 1 and 100. So to the first guess has to be between 1 and 100, correct? So it is 1 and 100. But second guess, what happens? Okay. Now in this case, what should we change? Should we change lower value? Should we change lower value or should we change higher value? So see, your num is less than guess. That means we have guessed a higher value. So next time, you should not guess higher than that. Right? So, okay. So if you say 67 and it says try guessing lower value, next time you should guess less than 66, not 67. That's why I said high equal to high minus 1. Here, it is low. Low, if you say 5, it says more than 5. Then next time you should not go beyond 6, right? I mean, minimum value will be 6. So low will be low plus 1, right? Or you can delete it and say plus equal to, and here you can say minus equal to, correct? So now let's run this and see what happens. Even then it's take 88 attempts. Something has gone wrong here, wait. Say low or high, right? Did we do something wrong here? It should come down. Okay, let's see this. Okay, let's see the output here. 90, lower than 90. See, something is wrong here. Lower than 90, then again it's guessing 97. Okay, so see here. Our guess is higher. So it's not high minus, it is guess minus 1.
Okay.
Right? And it is guess plus 1, right? Right. Not high. High is 100. So it is definitely not 99. It is whatever you have guessed, that minus 1. Now it should be done within 5 to 7 attempts. See, 8 attempts. And you can verify. Okay, see 5 attempts. 83, guess a lower number. 31, guess a higher number. Okay, so 31 is also lower. So you say 13. So now you're saying higher than 13. Okay, you said 30. Okay, now you said lower than 30. Right? Now, if you want to know exact value, good job, you guessed. Okay, okay. So you guessed 67 correctly in 7 attempts.
So
Okay.
we are not giving the actual value, but we can run.
Where we are not giving the actual value, what do you mean?
So previously we have not given right. Now we have given guess right there.
Where, which lines?
Like your job done. Good job and guess with this.
Guess in flower bracket, right?
Yeah.
So that you can see which number you guessed. Because we don't know, right, which number is being guessed. You don't know which number is being guessed, correct? That's why I said. Make sense? Okay. Now we'll move on to next topic. We'll start next topic, which is called list. Okay. So I'm going to move this to the other file. Okay. Okay, so what is the list? See, again, we are going back to data types. Okay, so we have done 5 basic data types: integer, float, string, complex, boolean. Now we are all these data types that we spoke about could save only one value, could store only one value. Now we are talking about data types which can store multiple values. So if I say L1 equal to, right, 45. So your L1 is what? L1 is integer, right? It has only one value, which is 45. Okay. Now I want to, okay, make sure that it stores multiple value. Okay. So how do you do that? In list, you use square bracket. Okay, you use square bracket. So if I need to know the data type of L1, which function do we use to get the data type? Type. So type of L1, if you do, you see, you get list. How many values are there in L1? So you say the function called as len. Okay, so len is the new function talking about, which will tell us the number of values in list. So see, we just added a square bracket. Okay, so we didn't add any value. So number of values in L1 is 0. We don't have any value in L1. Now you can add a value here. 25, 45, 12, 29, okay, 41. How many values did we add? 5. Okay, now you see, it says class list and add values 5. So if you need to store multiple values, like when we did the marks and average calculation of 5 students or 5 marks, right? So we used, initially we used 5 different variables to store 5 marks, right? Then when we used loop, we didn't know how to save the value in one variable. So we couldn't save the values. Now with list, we can save multiple values in one variable. Okay, so this is what we are going to use. In list, you can see it need not be of same type. You can say 25, you can say 45.9. You can take this as, you know, string. You can even, okay, store a list inside a list. So now how many members are there in this list? See and tell me again. You have, this is one member, this is second member, this is third member, and this is fourth member. You have only 4 members here.
Oh, okay, 45.9.
Yeah. Right. So you have only 4 members here.
In that list again, the inner list comes under only one value.
Correct, because the entire thing is one variable, isn't it? Now you can go into the inner list. We can get into inner list. So how do we get into inner list? So here, if I have to print, okay, so yeah, we need to talk about indexing. We'll talk about indexing. Okay, so let's first understand list, then we'll get into indexing. We need to understand indexing. So indexing means, how do I get one specific value? You have 5 values. So if I say print L1, okay, if I say print values in the list equal to L1, right? So when you run it, okay, so these are the values in the list. But I want one specific value. That's when you have to use indexing. We'll talk about it in some time. Okay. Okay. So this is how you declare a list. How do you declare a list? Using square bracket. Values within square bracket is used to declare list. Okay. You need to have square bracket. Then okay. Now let's talk about how do you connect two lists together. Okay. So let's say I have L1 here and I have L2. And L2 is, let's say, hello, how are you? Okay, so we have L1 and L2. Now you can create L3, which is L1 plus L2. So now if I try to print L3, okay, L3 you will get first L1 values followed by L2 values. First L1 values followed. So this is one single list. You see that? Starting square bracket and ending square bracket. So you can simply add, just like you add two numbers, you can add two lists. Okay. Okay, the way you add two numbers, okay, you can add to a list. Okay, I can even multiply a list, right? So if I say here, print multiply, okay, L1 or let's say L2 into 3. So I'm multiplying L2 into 3. Then what happens? If you multiply 5 into 3, it becomes 5 plus 5 plus 5, right? So you add. So here when you multiply L2 into 3, it becomes L2 plus L2 plus L2. Okay. So L2 plus L2 plus L2. Right? So this is how your multiplication will, okay, will work. All right. I think now we should get into indexing. And this is the last topic for today. Okay, indexing. How do we do indexing? Now, indexing is to read a subset of your entire list. You have the entire list. Okay. Now we want to read a part of it. Okay. So let's take L3 here. This is the L3. Okay. So first thing that you need to understand is the counting or indexing starts from 0. Just like the range, whatever we discussed in range, starts with 0. Okay. And it starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. Okay. So if I need to get 2941. If I need to get this list here from L3,
Okay.
okay, which member is this? This is 0, right? I say index is from 0. This is 0th member. This is first member. This is second member, and this is third member. Right? So print fourth value from the list. For the fourth value from the list, what you have to say? 3. First value is 0. Second value is 1. Right? So fourth value will be 3. So when I say L3 of 3, this is what you get. Because this entire list is a member of list. Now, if I want to get the first member of this list, so see, this will give us, let's say I call L5. Now, L5, if I say L3 of 3, that means L5 will be 2941. So now if I print L5 of 1, then which value I'll get? 41.
Oh, yeah, 40.
Or you can write, okay, you can even write this as, because see, L5 is this entire thing, isn't it? So you put this entire thing here. You still get 41. So this is how you can read a list inside a list, or inside a list, or inside a list. Okay. Now, one thing you must have seen that I have used square bracket for indexing. So today we are learning two important properties, okay, of square bracket. One is to declare a list. Okay, you're declaring a list using square bracket. This is how you declare a list, square bracket. Okay, or you can use it to do indexing. So how do you know? How will Python know that you are using it for declaring a list or indexing? So you know that, see, when you're declaring a list, you just have square bracket, nothing around it, nothing before, nothing after. Correct? So when you see only square bracket, nothing before, after, that means you are declaring a list, you are creating a list. But when you're calling it, okay, we put the variable name and then the square bracket. Okay. See, there's a L3 and square bracket. Okay, variable name square bracket. The moment you see variable name square bracket, that means you are doing indexing. You're trying to read a subset. Yes. Okay, if you don't, if you just see square bracket, that means, oh, okay, I'm creating a list here. Okay, so this is how indexing is used. Okay, so you can access each and every member. Now, if I want to access last member, what will I say? Last member of the list. So when you look at last member of the list, your list is L3, correct? L3 of, okay. Now len is a function, so simple bracket L3. What will len of L3 give me? Total values. So if I do L3, I will get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, right? But you don't have index 8. You have only 7 index. 0 to 7, right? So now when I run it, you get error. What error? Index out of range error. List index out of range. That means I'm trying to access a member which is not there. I'm trying to access a member which is not there. Right? So you get error. So what should I do? If I want to access last member, I should say len of that list -1. Okay, now you see the last member is L3 here, right? U. So you get U. Right? So we are able to access
There are print a fourth value from the list right there.
uh-huh.
Yeah, in there the fourth value is in between square brackets 29 and 41, right?
The entire thing is one member.
Yeah,
Huh.
but you have written like comma L3 square bracket 3.
Where comma L3?
Yeah, in the previous print.
Line number you tell me.
Yeah, print value, fourth value. Yeah, print fourth value, last, at last.
Tell me the line number.
The 16.
16th.
Yeah.
Comma.
Okay. That L3.
L3 square bracket of 3, correct?
Yeah. What is the 3?
3 is third member, right? I told you, right? Indexing 0 member is first.
Yeah, now it's at 0 value is 25th, right?
0 value is 25th, correct?
44 point is 1.
1.
1 is 3.
Correct.
And the fourth
No,
value,
1 is 2. This is 1 ke baad kya hoga? After 1 comes 2, no. This is 0 you said.
okay.
This is 1 you said. What will this be?
2.
2. What is this?
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This is third member, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the third member, right? Yeah. And then, okay, last one. So what Python says is, you can do len -1, okay, or you simply do -1. I will understand that you're trying to get last member. See, logically it is length. Okay, if there are 8 elements, then the last element index will be 7. So we are saying len -1. It says that, okay, if you are doing -1, okay, length -1, then do directly -1. Then you do directly -1. You don't have to do len -1. So L3 of -1 is the last member of the list. So you have indexing from left to right as well as right to left. In left to right, we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. On right to left, we go by -1, -2, -3, so on. Okay?
Yeah.
All good? Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so this is about accessing individual member, single member. Okay. Now, see, if I want to access first member, okay, of the list, so I can say L3 of 0, right? Of 0 will give me first member, right? I can also use negative. So what should I do to get the first member? Minus what? Len of L3. Len of L3 is 8, so -8. So because you're starting from 1, -1, -2, -3. So -8 will be the first member, right? So you can get first member using 0 or minus of len. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how you access each member. Now we'll extend it to access continuous set of member. Now, if you want to access two values, you say comma, comma, right? L3 of 1, comma, L3 of 5. You get 1 and 5. Now, I want to have continuous values, 1, 2, 5. Then we use colon. Colon, just like in range. Okay, we have to use colon to indicate that I want value from 1 to 5, whatever, right? So let's say here, I'll say print first 3 members of the list. I want to know first 3 members of the list. How do I get first 3 members of the list? So I want L3 of, okay, comma, L3 of, right? Okay. So we have L3 of, I said first three, right? 0, 1, and 2 I want, right? So what it says is when you have continuous set of values, then you put colon.
Okay.
So left side is from, right side is to. From 0, okay, to 2. 2 means in range, what happened? We have to give one less, right?
Hmm.
So here if I say 0 colon 2, I will get which number? 0 and 1 only I'll get. Only two values I'll get.
Okay.
So I have to go one beyond.
3.
So yes, if I say 3, then I'll get up to 2.
Yeah.
So you get what Python says is, okay, colon you're using, that means I know you want from and to. Okay. But if you want from first value, then you don't have to give me. If you don't give me, I know you want from first. If you don't give me, then I know it is from first. Now let's try last three values. Last three values of the list. Now, how do I get last three values of the list?